number 1. Going to have, as you said, KIENOOB in the goal arc coming on up here for Showtime. Soondubu Strikers, I think the same old roster that you know and love. Here we are on the map to kick things off. Soondubu Strikers starting over on the right side, Showtime on the left. Showtime, of course, looking to defend that first place position that they've developed for themselves so far, and want to immediately get off to an early start by taking out both of these barriers and getting some pressure on towards the goal from the Soondubu Strikers.
Yeah, Soondubu Strikers trying to keep that pressure up extremely early. However, Demons Raw, or rather Showtime, not Demons Raw. I see KIENOOB, and I think Demons Raw immediately.
Showtime,
however, yeah, exactly. Getting the barriers first here with their pretty explosive comp here. They do have the Julia and the Kai to keep things really, really fast paced, and then KIENOOB can keep the core up as long as possible with this Amy in the net. However, the weakness does come when the core is on their defensive side. The Estelle and Rasmus can definitely chew this up, and now it's a power play for Showtime.
A great KO there onto Grimella, going to open up Joker to be able to step up here, get in that burst, and send it right into the goal. First goal of the match goes to Showtime as they take that ever so important early slight lead, getting into that second kickoff.
And they're going to need this lead, too, because they do have Erasmus on the other side here for the Soondubu Strikers. Having big fish already with the slick kicks, too, if Threezy Breezy can get his hands on the core and keep it in his possession for any amount of time, it is going to be extremely hard for Showtime to deal with that. Now a KO goes through, and Showtime immediately getting another one of these power plays, and they're showing us what they can do with it.
Yeah, and that was a long time coming. Really nice combination between Xianzhu and Joker there early on in the play to be able to knock those health bars pretty low, and leads to an eventual KO onto Grimella and an eventual double barrier going over to the side of Showtime. Joker on a little bit of a breakaway here now, shapeshifting, barely able to get back over towards it in time. KIENOOB falls back to group up alongside Xianzhu, helping out on the defense between these two ranged characters, but not going to be able to hold on to the barrier for long. It's Threezy Breezy one-on-one with KIENOOB. He gets KO'd for it as he's taken away by the sentry turret, and that's going to be an easy score found by KIENOOB.
Yeah, great strike there from KIENOOB. Grimella almost had the save there, but couldn't just get the strike in time after that blink. So it's 2-0 already for Showtime, who do definitely have a little bit better of an early comp. I would say the Julia and the Kai definitely have a lot of explosive power early on, and they can scale with it if they do get the right awakenings. However, I'm a little bit more scared of the Estelle and Rasmus, who open up both the goal barriers immediately, and they have the power, actually not the power play, they have the goal immediately already. It didn't even give you the chance to speak here, but Soondubu Strikers aren't over yet.
There you go, Soondubu Strikers, always happy to shut up for a few minutes if it keeps the game close, and we're going to end up in a 2-1 position off the back of that, but immediate early strikes, once again favoring Showtime to get their way out of the first barrier. Joker with the flurry, going to pressure onto the bottom one, nearly able to take that for his side. They're going to get back into the midfield, keeping the brawl going. Joker, another nice dash, another flip, nearly takes the point and the set with that one. And he's going to open up a wide open shooting angle, but Threezy Breezy snacks it with the death touch. Still doesn't matter. Cycles back over to Joker. He takes it up into the top corner and will take away the set for Showtime.
Yeah, and a beautiful dribble there for Joker, actually. He realized he did not quite have that bottom angle on the shot, so he used the corner to dribble it, get shapeshifting out of position, and then he was able to strike it up in that top side here, and now getting awarded as well with the first pick in draft. Going to be securing that adrenaline rush on the Juliet, which probably one of the scariest awakenings on Juliet in the game, because you do always have that potential for a dash punch on the side, and if you do get it, the point is essentially over, given those shorter cooldowns and the speed. We are going to be seeing a little bit of scaling here. The era on shapeshifting going to be getting at Spark. And then we see the Super Surge as well on to Threezy Breezy. I mean, honestly, Soondubu Strikers kind of got the short end of the stick there. Xianzhu getting that Reptile Remedy and kind of getting that stacks on stacks. They already have the power. Now they have a little bit more of it, and it's going to be harder to kill Xianzhu, who is really just kind of the playmaker, the person who's setting up all of these plays for Joker with these dribbles, right? So we're going to be seeing a little bit of a harder set here for the Soondubu Strikers, but they're definitely not out of it yet.
Yeah, you know, we got into the game one so quickly, we didn't even really get to talk about Universal Big Fish, but the fact that everybody's rocking it this game really going to end up showing that it's going to be a harder time getting some of these early KOs, but hasn't really slowed down Joker too much to the point that he's still willing to go for that adrenaline rush, but also going to help out folks like KIENOOB on the stacks on stacks. making sure that you get to hold on to those just a little bit more efficiently. Nice flip comes through there from KIENOOB, nearly able to send it into the goal. Breezy going to be staggered, has to avoid Joker for that reason. KIENOOB going to be able to clear it back out with one more glitch pop. Xianzhu now taking it down towards the bottom corner. Joker gets that KO, he gets his ad rush, and he gets a chance now to be able to turn that into a score. Good block from Shapeshifting with the Magical Maelstrom, going to go in for the flip, going to get deflected back away. Xianzhu dribbles it off the bottom, gets it back into Joker's hands, but still can't take it into the goals. It's enough time for Breezy to respawn, stop the power play. Xianzhu goes in for one more flip, making one last effort, but it will be a 3-on-3, and it won't be scored off this play.
Not be scored off the play, but Joker can score right here with his flip, but no, not able to find anything for it. But he does get the KO on the dash. Grimella now going down. Breezy looking incredibly low, trying to get another KO, but Joker messing up the flip there, but he does get the other KO eventually with that Flame Flurry. Going for the punch, trying to go for the 1v3. Shapeshifting not quite able to do it. And even though Grimella just spawned in time, the goal's already in. That is a Showtime for another point. That was a long one too there, Gordo.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? You get one strike, maybe two on defense of the 3 versus 1, but Shapeshifting not going to be able to hang on to that one for very long at all. Joker cashing out on these KOs time after time, and Ad Rush not slowing him down one bit. Going to be happy to continue to do so. Both of those barriers get taken in one big swing from Xianzhu and Joker. Not sure exactly who got the credit on that one, but it's double barrier nonetheless. It's a flip out of KIENOOB, and it's right into the goal. It's like he never left Demons.
And that's why this Amy on goalie is so scary, right? Your forwards have so much pressure. They get both the barriers, they blow all the cooldowns, and then the Amy jumps in. No one has any cooldowns to defend it. Gets the flip, gets the goal. Incredibly difficult. And now that Joker, as well, we saw last point, has that adrenaline rush. If he gets that 1 KO, I mean, they just go crazy. I feel like this is going to be an incredibly hard game for Soondubu Strikers, and I really don't think they're going to be winning this set here. It just doesn't seem very likely based on what's going on. They do, however, have the chance to start scaling again with the spark on the Shapeshifting, but they might not have the chance as the goal already goes in. The barriers are down, and KIENOOB, like I said before, blinks in the final seconds and just gets that clear.
Yeah, I mean, Joker's grooving on him this game. Such great core control there. Really good dribble off the bottom. Really good job using his ultimate for coverage as well. Just making sure that Xianzhu has angles to shoot. It's been so good from the side of Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime definitely showing us why they are to be feared right now. KIENOOB getting that team player, going to be making it even harder to Joker with a little bit more power on that bulk up. However, we do see Fight or Flight on Grimella. That's going to be helping with the surviving a little bit. Breezy has that hot shot, which actually is pretty good on the Rasmus. If he does get a hook, it will let him have a little bit more speed on that core. I would say Soondubu definitely have a little bit more to play with here. 1-2 on the era, definitely really strong as well with that beam strike, getting a little bit more speed on the core. So they have a couple more tools to play with here, Gordo. Let's see if the Soondubu Strikers can do anything, or if Showtime is just going to steamroll through this one.
Great positioning onto that sentry, going to really set up for the double barrier to come on across. 3Z already going to be staggered, and he's already going to get finished off. Joker just too fast. Outruns Shapeshifting on the way back. Shapeshifting will be able to keep up the defense for a little bit longer, but you can see these Magical Maelstroms have to get thrown out willy-nilly, just trying to provide a little bit additional coverage to stop this pressure from getting on through before the respawn does. 3Z now back, limping his way off the respawn platform to be able to get back into the play. Got to death touch it right back on over, but there's the flip out of 3Z, going to get deflected back away. Shapeshifting able to keep up the defense. Continued damage raining in on towards 3Z as he tries to clear things back over towards the left. Back down towards Joker. Joker knocks it up. Xianzhu back down. Joker dribbling it off the bottom. Going to dash on forward as soon as those cooldowns are back up. KIENOOB providing support at distance, and the energy burst will be used to create the power play once again. Just got to get it back around 3Z, who is going to take it for one more shot. Pendulum swing does not connect. Another clear out from Shapeshifting, do their best to hang on as long as they possibly can, and they will be able to do so in time for Grimella to respawn.
They do get the respawn here, but it still is a 3v3, and it is incredibly scary for Showtime here as well. I feel like the era... No, it's not actually. The era is just not there in time. Grimella is getting man-marked by Joker this whole time, and even though the 3Z Breezy and Grimella combo was getting a little bit more work done that point, Xianzhu just with one well-timed strike seals the deal.
Yep. And again, I mean, the Joker's all over him this game. Really doing a good job of, you know, obviously there's been plenty of KOs to be found, but finding ways to be useful outside of the KOs as well. Really doing a good job to make sure that they're not able to get back out of the play in time to be able to defend. will end up coming on through for that reason. Xianzu goes in for the energy burst, puts it right into Joker's hands off the deflection, who sends it into the barrier. Now one more shot on towards goal, not going to be able to make it there that time, but Xianzu pushing towards the bottom. Barrage is deflected for a time, but Joker gets one more dash angle, and that's all she wrote for the point. 2-0, 1 point away from a Showtime victory in game number 1.
This is insane to see. Joker and KIENOOB are doing so much that Xianzu doesn't have to do anything, whereas usually it's the opposite. Usually Xianzu kind of has to do a lot of the heavy lifting with the core control and then let Joker kind of finish while barcode holds it down. But with this different roster of Showtime, KIENOOB in the net, it feels a lot different as the goal is already scored. KIENOOB just does everything himself. Lazy Breezy staggered in the back. I mean, Soondubu Strikers are going to have to reform and find a new way to deal with this roster.
KIENOOB not looking very retired this
No,
game,
not at all.
to be honest. He picks up right where he left off, and if not even better. A dominant showing here with a new squad for him, and 8 KOs for the Joker. Not going to be too shabby either. KIENOOB walks away with the MVP, but excellent play all around there, and Xianzu never one to take all the credit for himself, going to be sitting on the sidelines a little bit more, but it's a solid game from him too.
I honestly will shout out Xianzu, though. Even though not the most flashy game from the Kai, he kind of kept the glue together and allowed KIENOOB to play incredibly aggressively. Because, I don't know, if you watch the game back, the power of the Rasmus Estelle combo is you have, if you can get the passes between each other, they have so much push potential on the goalie. If they get into a corner, they have the beam, they have the blink, they have the Rasmus utility. They just have so much to get it past one man. But Xianzu was sitting in between them the entire game, while Joker was standing on Grimella the entire game. So not only could Grimella not really get his hands in the core, as we see with the 76 redirects, even if Breezy Breezy got it, the pass is never complete there because Xianzu's sitting there marking it the entire time. And even if Breezy Breezy has it, KIENOOB, just one well-timed glitch pop can get it out of his hands. So we saw the power of it there. And another thing to note here, Gordo, is how are you going to deal with this Showtime roster? Because it's incredibly different than when Barcode's on it. Barcode, obviously incredible at the same time with his goalies. However, KIENOOB plays the exact opposite of him. These ranged goalies, this aggressive play style. You sit all week studying for the Showtime, and then Barcode doesn't even show up. And you have now, maybe even still, the best player in the entire, I'm going to say world, on the goal box ahead of you. Like, how do you deal with this?
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't hate to USL or anything, but look, yeah, I think you'd say world. We're talking about NASL here, and
Yeah, this guy's gross.
yeah, really, really good stuff out. Especially we're talking about top of NASL, right? And that's just been what we've known from KIENOOB all along. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of a dangerous layer here for Showtime. Again, retired. Who's to say what's really going to be the consistent strategy going forward for Showtime? But if they're able to show up on the day with one goalie or the other, and you never really know which one to predict for, that's a tough ask for any opponent going up against Showtime, and showing off a little bit against Soondubu Strikers here today, who, as you said, clearly looked unprepared for the IME out of the goal arc there, among other things. Really just able to keep up constant pressure on them and just kind of got shown up. We'll see what they're going to be able to show in draft for game number 2 as they try to pull this one back in. An IME ban might not be completely out of the question. Finney going to be the first thing off the board for Showtime.
I will say it is going to be a little bit different here. They do have their map pick. I believe Soondubu Strikers, storied on this map, the Soondubu Village. They're definitely very, very comfortable on it. They're not going to have to worry about a lot of this aggressive play style because Oni Village definitely more of a passive map. The core is going a lot faster. It's hard to keep up with it. So these bunker goalie is going to be a big, plus here for shapeshifting. But we'll see what they can do. The Xianzu obviously going to be picking up that Estelle first pick, which is the, good part about it not being your map pick is you do have the choice of getting that first pick or not. So they can take off the Estelle right away, but they are just going to go with the Kai and the Rasmus, kind of the Soondubu classic here on this map. And we will actually see the Era goalie coming out here. We saw this earlier, actually, from Soren kind of playing it twice in a row. Definitely a very, very strong pick. We've been playing with it a lot. And the Zentaro coming in here for the Joker. So Zentaro Estelle, very explosive combo, and the Kai Rasmus, another very explosive combo. So I think the goalies are going to have their works cut out for them this game, Gordo, as we do not have Soondubu goalie pick here, but I do believe it'll probably just be a Mako. Yep, there we go. A Mako slotted in for shapeshifting. Put the fries in the bag, get your on your comfort, feel good, play good. That's just kind of how it works.
Yeah, I mean, listen, last time I was back here, it was liftoff time, it was promotion tournament time, and there wasn't really a lot of Mako then. So dare I forget that this character can be locked in at any time, but it will be back at least for this one here. And as you said, yeah, Era and the goal arc looking like, unless it's going to be the Estelle, I think that's a little bit less unlikely or less likely. I don't want to double negative myself. And then definitely a Joker here for the likes of Centauro. So looking like it's going to be a similar approach to the game of what Showtime showed us last time, kind of two pseudo midfielders coming in with the addition of the goal and going to have all that additional range support just to help out Joker on the front lines, battling it out, picking up KOs, and maneuvering that core into scoring position. It worked out really well for him in game number 1. Going to be a little bit of a different look here from the likes of the Soondubu Strikers in game number 2, though. They keep the Rasmus, but steal away the Kai for themselves, and they add in this Mako to the mix to give themselves a little bit more rock-solid defense.
Yeah, definitely I'm going to give this very, very slight edge in terms of team comp to the Soondubu Strikers, mainly because they have the Kai. The Kai, I think, does really well into the Era. The Rasmus, not so much. I think the Era can just always shrink the Rasmus, and the Rasmus isn't really much of a threat. However, the Kai Barrage Era pretty much has absolutely nothing except the full form Tornado to deal with Kai Barrage. So if they can get the core in Gramella's hands, I think it's going to be a lot easier for them to play. However, on the other side, I do think Zentaro Estelle is a forward duo that can pretty easily break through a Mako, especially if they have all their utility up. So this will be a pretty even game, at least in terms of the characters. We'll see if the Soondubu Strikers can recover here, or if Showtime is just going to 2-0 pretty cleanly, or pretty cleanly. So we'll
Yeah.
see, we're going in here as we loading into the game. Oh, actually, we are getting stalled a little bit here. I think somebody might have disconnected. I think Shianzu might have disconnected, or something
Well,
was an issue. Oh, never mind. We're
whatever
all
it
good. We're
was,
starting back in.
I think we might have been wrong map. I didn't even notice it, but whatever it was, we resolved it pretty quickly here. And speaking of trying to recover here, it is recovery drone start alongside the heavy impact. So going to start to see a little bit of additional defense against those KOs potentially. We'll see where the emphasis is going to be and who's actually going to end up walking away with that one. I mean, could see some value in that if you want it, based on how many KOs we got to see out of the likes of Showtime in round number 1. We'll see if there's going to be any selections and how many, if so. Certainly going to be a heavy impact for the likes of the Rasmus, but some of the other folks maybe having a little bit more optionality in what they go for from these starting awakenings.
For sure. We are going to be seeing the
Oh,
triple
wow, even
heavy
Rasmus with
impact on
recovery.
the Showtime. And we are going to be seeing the size with heavy impact on the Mako on Soondubu Strikers. One barrier going down already. And it looks like Soondubu's starting us off strong here, Gordo.
Yeah, really good stuff from them here. Yeah, surprised not to see the heavy impact come in off the Rasmus, but just valuing staying alive pretty heavily here. It is the heavy impacts across the board over from the side of Showtime, and see how well they're going to be able to navigate off of that one. Nice positioning from Gramella on what I think was a Giga Blast to be able to send it right on in. First score over to Soondubu Strikers in a while.
Yeah, definitely haven't seen that out of them in a little bit. Very, very nice to see. It's going to be a little bit more, I guess, of a game. We definitely all want to see that here as the first barrier goes down yet again already. And we're actually seeing it kind of last point, how vulnerable this Era is. If the Era can keep the core forward, it's great because she can speed up, get the tornadoes, do whatever she needs to do. But when you get the core on the barriers, it's extremely hard for KIENOOB on the Era to do basically anything. Look at the barrage coming in through, which is just going to be the key for Soondubu in this matchup. Joker now getting staggered and needs to be careful, but it is just going to be one barrier to one in this game. Not too much happening yet.
Yeah, I mean, oh, that's a quick little KO found there on the Joker. Going to create a power play over for the Soondubu Strikers and give them a chance to really be able to find a foothold in this game number 2. Nice double laser comes on across, though. Crashing Bewitching Beam with Piercing Shot, and it takes Gramella right off the map. Going to blow that recovery drone right away. Breezy may be going to be the next one in the target range, as he's going to have to fall back away. Going to get sent away from that orb that he was trying to use to recover, and very well could end up losing his drone. That second barrier secured, though. The additional pressure from Shapeshifting going to let them take that one down. Setting up for a scoring opportunity. Perfect pitch. Takes one off the goal arc, but KIENOOB still hanging on alive. Going to be able to blow the recovery drone away from a 3Z. Both recovery drones now done, and a KO of a beautiful magical Maelstrom out of KIENOOB. Shot flip from 3Z, though, will put it in the goal and take a 2-0 lead for the Strikers.
Breezy kind of mesmerizing him there with his movement, getting a couple dribbles down on the bottom side, finds that flip, wide open top angle there in the goal, so pretty easy shot for him. and pretty important one too after the KO on Grimella just went through with that Magical Maelstrom. So yet again, first berry's going down quick, as is the Oni Village way. Grimella now looking incredibly low, and I think that Showtime have found a bit of a new strat, right? Start to focus the Kai a bit more. They found out that, you know, the barrage is definitely really hard to deal with. The Giga Blast, just everything about Kai is hard for them to deal with. So if they can just not deal with them, all the better, right? As the flip comes in through Joker, and he will be getting that second barrier right away.
Absolutely, and going to be able to keep up that pressure really nicely on towards the goal arc as they do get on in and open things up. Shot from potentially Xianzhu, not going to be able to get through, going to be blocked away by 3Z, set back in towards the goal. Dash out up from Joker, looking for a strike from the top side. Won't be able to get it on through. Another Bewitching Beam shrinks down 3Z, back up to full size. There's the snare drums, not quite connecting, a little bit wide. Going to be down for the following couple of seconds. KIENOOB does have access to the flip, going to use that Flutterfly to rush everybody forward. Joker fakes him out with the slice and dice and just sends it right back up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, a little bit of a modified little play there. That was pretty nice. Joker using that passive to get ahead of the core after stopping it with the primary. Really, really cheeky play there on the Zentaro, and that's kind of the power of the character right now. It might not be the strongest as it's always been compared to this Juliet character or something similar. However, it does still have that outplay potential that you want, especially into this Mako. And when you have an Estelle as well, I mean, all you really have to do is send it in a direction and the Estelle will clean up. So Joker and Xianzhu definitely pretty comfortable here. They just need to start to make it work. And no, they cannot make it work as shapeshifting just an iron wall right now in the net.
Yeah, another shrink down, not going to be enough to get the job done. But, oh, caught by Joker, nearly sent on in. That Oni's Blade as best as he can. Should back away, though, by another Giga Blast. Nearly going to be KO'd for it. Will be able to hold on. They're going to be able to stagger 3Z as well. Xianzhu trying to clear lanes with the piercing shots. Joker dribbling it off the bottom, sends it back in, bouncing it off the closed goal. 3Z still staggered, just trying to recover for the time being, and meanwhile Xianzhu and Joker going to work as they take down the second barrier, moving in towards the bottom. Grimella going to be able to fend it away for now. Flip comes on out to send it back in on towards Joker's hands. 3Z doing his best to be able to set up an offense here, but cannot connect these pendulum swings. Slashing strike from Joker, sends it back over to clear it out. Here comes Grimella trying to fight alongside Joker, but Magical Maelstrom clears things once again, sends it back on over. Joker finds a KO inside the goal arc. Mako down. Oh. There's another one to join him. An easy scoring opportunity. Misses the slashing strike.
Oh.
3Z clears it out. There's no way 3Z Breezy can defend this. One more strike down to Xianzhu. Back to Joker. Back to the goal. Fended away. 3Z holds on. 1 versus 3. And Showtime cannot close out the point.
Iron Wall 33 in the net, and it is going to matter. The flip not quite able to come through with Joker, but no, the Crystal Thorns hits it right into the primary. Shapeshifting getting hit stun there twice. Not much he can do, but a great effort from 3Z Breezy to hold that for as long as humanly possible. Basically doing everything right there. That was well done for the side of the Soondubu Strikers and 3Z Breezy especially, rather, in getting that chance. One thing to note here is that Showtime has kind of changed up the way they're playing this. KIENOOB is actually kind of man-marking 3Z 1v1 a lot of the time, and it opens up Xianzhu and Joker to just make Grimella's life incredibly difficult. Now, that time it was a bit hard as Shapeshifting and Grimella managed to actually win the Strike Wars. However, as we're seeing again, the pressure from this Estelle and this Zentaro is incredibly difficult to break through.
Xianzhu's aim on these piercing shots has just been beautiful. Just hanging out so far away, constantly connecting at near max range. It's impossible to predict where this guy's going to be getting involved as he just leaves your line of sight and you're just not concerned about it until it's too late. Going to be able to blow out the flip from him there as he dukes it out with 3Z. Breezy losing a fair bit of his health bar, staying close to him to make sure they're not going to be able to get any kind of breakaway going. Another slashing strike comes out, not able to connect onto any target. Joker and Xianzhu duking it out, stepping forward. Flip comes out of Joker, tries to send it right through. Shapeshifting's ready for it. Blocks it away, flips it back. Another Giga Blast out of Grimella, going to get fended away by KIENOOB. Clears things out with the Bewitching Beam. Once again, tons of damage inside the snare drums. Find their way onto Joker, but he's still staying standing. Flip out of 3Z into the goal. In the first set will go to Soondubu Strikers. We got a series on our hands.
Hey, 3Z Breezy had to get his flowers somehow there after that insane play on the defensive side, so well done, finally getting that goal there. And Soondubu with their first set win of the series. Definitely going to be huge here as Grimella does get that first pick. And I'm not sure where he's going to go here. Definitely gets the fight or flight. Was getting peppered a lot with a couple abilities, so it's going to help immensely with kiting away from the Centauro for sure. The aerials on the Era is definitely scary. The Tornado is going to be going further. The secondary going to be going a little bit faster. Bulk up for Joker, getting a little bit more damage. And the 1-2 for Xianzu going to be making Showtime an incredibly scary team right now. They have a bit of explosiveness. They have a bit of damage. They have the long grenados. They have all the tools they need. Let's see if they can get back into the game here.
Yeah, and I mean, the recovery drones are back as well. Remember, the KOs have been so important so far for Showtime. Having those resources back available on the fresh set, definitely going to be feeling pretty good for them, although Gramella gets struck down right away, takes a bunch of damage, and feels the need to fall back away. Going to be another piercing shot onto him. They're just going to look to take the recovery drone as quickly as they can, and Gramella's is already gone. Joker doing a nice job there to be able to close that one out with the Oni's blade. Now waiting out the ensnare drums on the other side, minimizing the amount of damage he takes while still being able to get back involved in the play. 3Z now up on the front lines, trying to take it in towards that second barrier, having difficulty breaking through the wall of Xianzu and KIENOOB, though. These double range defenders, and Xianzu always so willing to help out on defense, makes it so tough to be able to get through there as just the Rasmus without some real fancy footwork. Once again, moved outside of the pendulum swing, shapeshifting a little bit too slow on the drum and bass to be able to fend away a second shot. And it will be an open goal now available for Showtime to be able to try to close out the first point of this set. KIENOOB moves it in towards the bottom. A big growth comes out across from the likes of that bewitching beam. Another big damage onto Gramella. Flip comes out across. Joker can't time it right. Ends up missing his own energy burst. And Breezy now with big opportunity moving on forward, has the energy burst, does not maintain control of the core though, and it will be sent back away by KIENOOB.
Will be sent back away. KIENOOB kind of an iron wall this point so far, not letting absolutely anything go to his barrier. Shapeshifting now has to deal with the open goal. The barrage comes through, but it's not going to do anything as the piercing shot not going to quite make it in time. Gramella, though, taking a lot of damage for it and is going to go down. Shapeshifting now 1v1 in a goal, and Joker is going to be getting the better of that 1v1 there with the primary. And a great KO there as well on the bottom side on Gramella. Soondubu Strikers had the opportunities. They had over and over again. They had the ball control for majority of that game, or that point rather, but they just were not able to convert.
I wish we had an instant replay for Joker on that dribble there, that interaction back and forth. I don't even know how to describe it. He caught something with the slashing strike to send it on in initially, gets fended back away, he catches it with the first strike of the slice and dice, sends it back through with the second. It was really well done. And now going to be an early lead in the set to Showtime. Xianzu not able to hold on to one of those top barriers, but will be able to take the second. Now going to be able to keep things even for the time being, but KIENOOB back out at midfield, throw down the Flutterfly for the squad as always. Will get a lot done here to be able to secure themselves the second barrier, and Snare Drum's going to end up going wide, and Gramella taken too low and finished off by KIENOOB. It's a power play available here for the likes of Showtime. Xianzu going to be able to move it back on over to Joker. Breezy doing a good job working on KIENOOB, but will not be able to get their way on towards that barrier. Joker trying to clear out some space up against Shapeshifting, but Shapeshifting a bit tough to move on this. Mako will be able to hold on for the time being, and Joker just trying to stack up resources to be able to get in here and contest later on.
Able to do something here, but Soondubu Strikers trying to get something going. They just cannot find any opportunity to get past KIENOOB, who is just stopping every single attempt possible, as no goal barriers rather available for the Soondubu Strikers. A great stop away from Gramella, but another great pass from Xianzu up to Joker, who squeezes it right through both Shapeshifting and Gramella, getting the second point. And this set just seems to be going all Showtime's way. They have the damage, they have the explosiveness, they have everything they need, and Soondubu Strikers just seem to be falling behind.
Yeah, and fancy plays aside, it's just good passing at the end of the day that ends up closing out the point. Nice little move from Joker into Xianzu's hands, into the goal, and they find the gaps in the defense. They'll get themselves up now 2-0, and wow, a core moving too quickly there. Gramella ends up whiffing on the Giga Blast, and just keeps on finding openings for the likes of Showtime to be able to keep that pressure on. Nice magical Maelstrom, nice burst, takes away another recovery drone. That's not going to be available here, and it does seem like after a rough set number one, Showtime finding their footing in game number two and looking to keep their win afloat. Going to be able to find the second one. Joker tries to take a shot in towards the barriers as they open. Doesn't find it there, but does get it off the back of a big Oni's blade. And it will be a 3-0 set to Showtime, right as we were starting to say the Soondubu Strikers were making things close.
Soondubu Strikers had a great first set here, but after a really good draft for Showtime, getting everything they really needed, it just became so much harder for the Soondubu Strikers to play the game. Twin Drive getting denied from the Mako here, seeing what she has to pick now. Gonna go for the missile prop, the Stinger now. More damage coming in through for Showtime. We do get more size on 3Z Breezy, but more size isn't gonna matter when you're getting shrunk over and over on repeat. One thing that I think the Showtime rather has been doing incredibly well, I talked about it earlier, is they're kind of double man marking Gramella here with Joker and Shianzu, and then KIENOOB standing on top of 3Z. Anytime the core goes 3Z Breezy's way, an Aera Beam is just coming through, hitting the core the opposite way, shrinking 3Z Breezy and not allowing him to play. But without the shrink, 3Z Breezy can do anything he wants as he gets both barriers right off the bat.
Yeah, quick start from 3Z Breezy, going to be able to get aggressive and going to be able to make something happen off of it. Still has the recovery drone available as well now that it's a new set, and going to be able to be a little bit more frisky. The plays that he tries to look for, not going to be able to quite close anything out there. There's going to be Joker dueling up against Gramella and 3Z. Gramella taken so low, and Joker takes his recovery drone just as quickly as the point starts. The reliability that this Showtime team can find KOs continues to be a difficult thing to navigate for the likes of the Soondubu Strikers. 3Z, though, going to try to turn that opportunity into a goal. They're going to be able to find the KO regardless, though. Call it 2, and 3Z, no 1v3 defense this time, brother. It's a point to Showtime.
With a little emote for good measure, too. Shrug that man, Joker. As you get the KO, you get the goal, you deserve it. Show these guys that you mean business and you're not losing this game. Joker and Shianzu, look at that potential there of the comboing, the piercing shot, the Oni's blade, anything that you want. Showtime has it. And all they have to do is defend this core flip here from 3Z Breezy, and they do. But the great primary from Shapeshifting, you're actually going to be coming in to stop that second core flip, getting the barrier, and now giving Soondubu Strikers just a little bit more leeway they need, but at the same time now losing the barrier as well. Showtime is just not over. They're throwing everything at Soondubu here.
No, it's always Showtime, especially today. And Joker finds another slashing strike, carries it on through so many goals where we have gotten to see portraits of all three characters. This whole team firing on all cylinders and looking ready to potentially sweep a second set in a row.
Looking like they want to 3-0 yet another set, Gordo, and they will start off with getting a power play right off the bat and looking to get this last barrier right off the bat as KIENOOB has that flip, but no, uses it away. Great play from Shapeshifting there, getting the top barrier of his own and almost getting the goal.
There's the retirement hands showing up just a little bit. Wasn't quite able to snag that one. But they're still going to not result in a point for the likes of the Soondubu Strikers quite yet. But there it is. Gramella and 3Z able to close it out, and they stop the bleeding.
They do stop the bleeding just a little bit, and it shows kind of the potential if Gramella gets left open for even a second. You give him that Giga Blast range, 3Z Breezy has the core. KIENOOB, it makes him really hard to play the game, but I think that's kind of the formula, right? You have to somehow unlock Gramella, but it's so hard to do that when Joker's just standing right on top of him all game.
It's always been the difficulty, doing a really good job of, as you said, marking 3Z in particular. It's always either KIENOOB or Shianzu, sometimes both. Just hanging out right on top of that Rasmus, making sure that no play is going to be available. Joker even filling in on the roll sometimes, and the result is that 3Z bullied off of the play continually, and Snare Drum's going to find only the core in towards the bottom, bounces around for a second, going to be released afterwards. No serious impact to be found there, but a couple of seconds bought for everybody to regroup and set up for the play. 3Z still low on Stagger, continuing to try to pressure on towards the barrier. Going to get Stagger, going to get knocked away by Joker. As Shapeshifting going to try to re-dribble things back on over. There's the KO found. Joker takes away the last recovery drone from the map. Try to close out this last goal that they need. They're going to get a couple tries at it as well. There's going to be another rush, sending things back in towards the goal, bouncing it off of the barriers. There's going to be the flip from KIENOOB, fended away by Shapeshifting, and they still hang on, but there's some space cleared out by Joker. There's a KO found by Shianzu. Perfect pass, perfect timing, double KO once again. No shot from Shapeshifting to hang on, and Showtime will go up 2-1 in game number 2.
2-1 in sets, and they weren't close. The last one less close than this one, but this one, I mean, even though Soondubu got that one good point, they still do not have much room to play with here. They need some form of healing or way to stay in the game, because the longer that these points go on, the more damage they take and the more time that they are going, or more chance rather, they are going to get KO'd here by Showtime with this incredibly strong and dynamic forward duo with that Estelle Zentaro, and they have so much damage too. Joker is actually going to be, going to be denying the reptile remedy here from anybody on the side of the Soondubu Strikers, and they're kind of stuck here with Breezy getting that spark of leadership, going to be sharing a little bit of health, a little bit of speed with his teammates here. Grimella getting that cast last week and run a little bit faster, Shapeshifting getting that super surge. They're getting things that they want here, Gordo, but is it going to be enough to fend off the already overwhelming damage from this Showtime roster? We'll have to see.
That's going to be the question. Showtime looking to put this series to bed pretty fast here. I mean, our call time was 4:30. It's 4:57. And they're looking like they might be able to close out the series right here. It's about as quick of an NASL series as you'll find. They are going to be able to keep on pushing. Grimella going to be taken down into the staggered state. Breezy doing his best, working on KIENOOB. Can't get it past. And will still be hanging on to that top barrier. That top barrier been a thorn in the Soondubu Strikers' side all series long, particularly this last couple of sets. They were able to find it in the first, but just have not been able to break on through since then. Once again, Joker and Xianzhu resetting up towards the top. Another KO. That's a 6 KO streak to the Joker, who just continues to find folks unawares up towards the top blast zone and blasts them away.
Blasting them away. 3Z looking like he's next, but he will retreat for now and get this orb. Shapeshifting going to be more than enough to hold this barrier for now. And no, Grimella goes down yet again. The flip from Xianzhu going to be taking him off the pitch. There's no energy for the forwards of Showtime. However, KIENOOB, who is running up, has the flip. He has the play. He goes for it, but he cannot find it as a great save from Shapeshifting goes through. 3Z Breezy now is next on the chopping block here yet again, trying to get these orbs, but he has no energy, and I feel like he's going to be taken off any moment here, Gordo, if he just gets on this core a little bit longer. But no, he will get that orb, and he will settle down for now. The Soondubu Strikers are looking okay.
No, 3Z immediately going to find himself staggered again, feels the need to retreat back away. They do get the top barrier. Grimella had a striking opportunity, but does not quite find the core that time. They will be able to hang on still. Going to be another reset on towards Joker. Beautiful catch off the dribble with the slashing strike, sends it in towards the barrier, and another reset in towards the goal. Pass down from Xianzhu. Xianzhu keeps it in front of Joker constantly, and Joker always happy to seize on these opportunities. Pushes it in towards him once again, has access to the energy burst. Going to be stuck inside the ensnare drums. We'll be able to just wait it out. There's the burst, there's the dash, but Grimella fends it back away with a nicely placed barrage. Joker trying to get onto him, but Grimella going to be able to dodge back away, still hanging on for the time being, but it is a perfect shot into the bottom corner. Mako's not quick enough. No perfect pitch will be the point over to the likes of Showtime.
Yeah, Core going a little bit too fast there in overtime for the Mako to keep up with it, and they really just need to be keeping their barriers a little bit longer. Easier said than done, obviously, here, as the health bars are just disappearing for Grimella and 3Z Breezy, and they get the first barrier, but that's not going to mean much when your midfielder is just 1 HP the entire game. I feel like Shapeshifting and 3Z need to be kind of playing between each other just to let Grimella breathe a little bit. Every time the core goes near this Kai, he takes a good chunk of damage, as you're seeing here, already staggered yet again, and probably going to be taken off the pitch anytime soon here. Soondubu need to stem this bleeding somehow, or they're going to lose the series.
Yeah, and they're no fools. They're pulling Shapeshifting out further and further to try to get them involved a little bit more, try to find some way to get a play going, but it's just not working out for him so far. And So 3Z Breezy going to find himself taken down lower and lower, burning down off of that stinger damage into the stagger state. Once again, nice reset off of the pendulum swing, puts it in on towards the barrier, opens up the goal, but finds himself staggered for it once again. Nearly going to be KO'd, and Xianzhu going to be able to reset on towards their own offense. Dribbling it up against Joker. Joker finishes off the KO on the opposite side. Great Giga Blast, nearly sends it into the goal, but KIENOOB going to be in position to be able to fend it back away. Pushing it up towards the top now, dash on through. Joker gets big damage on across the rest of the team. It does open up an angle, but they still won't be able to take it onto the barrier. Shapeshifting able to hold on to that one with the drum and bass for just a little bit longer. KIENOOB gets a shrink down onto Grimella. Once again, piercing shot, not quite going to connect this time. Another reset from 3Z, looking for a shot on the goal. Flip comes out of KIENOOB to be able to hang on for a little bit longer. Bewitching Beam going to end up shrinking down 3Z, or they will be able to hold on to the point. Grimella going to reset it though, gets it back in towards the goal. Once again in a scoring position for the Soondubu Strikers, but somebody's disappeared in the middle of the play. They're going to be able to take him on down. Xianzhu pushing forward. Another knock-in on towards the barrier. Joker looking to take it into the goal, but can't find the strike. And Xianzhu going to have to hang on for just a little bit longer as Grimella and Shapeshifting doing their best to be able to clear things out. 3Z Breezy pushes it forward. Grimella takes it in on towards the goal, and they cannot find their mark. Still hanging on are the likes of Showtime.
Showtime still hanging on over and over again, shot after shot. Soondubu Strikers are trying to do something. They're trying to find a goal, but they just cannot find anything. Xianzu and KIENOOB, the double goalie is way too strong because they don't have the abilities to do it. Showtime are just sapping all their abilities in midfield so that Breezy and Grimella don't have anything to put it through. They need that barrage to do something. Here it comes, and that's exactly what they needed. The pendulum swing with the barrage is all you need. Putting it right past KIENOOB there and finally getting a point. And maybe, Gordo, they figured out the formula. They found out a way to give Grimella a little bit more leeway to play the game, and now we'll see a little bit more competitive of a series here.
Yeah, it really felt like they put everything into that point, and it does pay off for them. Thankfully for the likes of the Soondubu Strikers, they are able to find themselves a path to play, but 3Z not getting to play at all. Held down and pushed out bit by bit, and eventually going to be KO'd for it. Now in the power play, trying to take some barriers for it. Shapeshifting pushed back away. Joker looking to finish him entirely. Will not be able to take him off the map, but will be able to secure one of the barriers for it before 3Z is able to respawn and get back out of the play. Joker trying to fake out shape-shifting, just does it. 1 versus 1, outplayed with the strike. Xianzu finds a KO, gets a 6 KO streak of their own, and now a full assault from the likes of Showtime. All 3 members rolling up to the play. Shape-shifting is so low, Joker might be able to take him down right here. Xianzu puts it back into position, but all 3 members of the Soondubu Strikers will be able to keep up the defense for the time being, but it's a power play once again. Showtime continually keeping members off the map. Make it 2 and make it the goal. 2-1 Showtime, 1 goal away from taking the set and the series.
I really like the adjustment there that Joker actually did. They got shape a little bit lower after the first power play when they killed 3Z Breezy, and so Joker just decided, hey, you guys just hold it down together. Use your abilities on defense. I'm just going to kill Shape. It will happen at some point here soon, and as soon as they had that one breakaway, Xianzu and Joker put Shapeshifting away in the dirt, and then now the 2v3 without their goalie is just too much for them to handle. The flip from Joker here going to be coming through here, and they're trying to get the second one. They're all gas, no breaks right now, Gordas. They're trying to get the series. Grimella managing to save it for now, and they do get the clear.
Everything in the kitchen sink thrown by Showtime there to be able to secure the point and finish things off. They just keep on the pressure, and even an extra magical Maelstrom in there when all is said and done. You just see they have every single cooldown synced up together to keep the pressure on and to keep the core moving forward. But finally a flip out of 3Z. 3Z going to be able to open up the goal onto the other side. 3Z looking for an opportunity to be able to close out the point here and keep the team competitive. But it's a Crystal Thorns from Xianzu creating the breakaway. Shape-shifting had the flip, had everything, but it's on the wrong side of the map. Showtime close out the game, close out the series 2-0 to Showtime as they move up to 4-1.
Showtime looking so scary right here, Gordo. I mean, now up to 4-1 in the season here. It doesn't even matter if they don't have barcode. They have probably the best sub you could ever ask for in the league at KIENOOB. Xianzu's gone, put KIENOOB midfield. Barcode's gone, put KIENOOB goalie. Joker's gone, just put KIENOOB brawler. Put this guy anywhere you want, and he will make it happen. And even the scariest part, like I said earlier, is you can't prepare for it too. KIENOOB is just such a different playstyle than all the members of Showtime, so whenever he gets slotted in anywhere, it just becomes a whole different team, right? And as we saw right here, KIENOOB doing so much work. You see even redirects on Xianzu rather, and KIENOOB both putting in a little bit of work on the defensive side and to help with the core control. Joker 9 goals and 7 KOs. Xianzu and 8 KOs for themselves, and KIENOOB even getting 3 KOs. I believe a couple beam KOs, and I know there was one magical maelstrom KO onto Grimella at some point in that game. But man, I don't want to play this team. Thank God I'm not playing anymore, because this sounds awful to play against. You have all the hard to playness of Showtime with their forwards, and then now you have to deal with KIENOOB on top of it. How do you play the game?
Yeah, I mean, you're a coach for Aaron's Kitten Club. Aren't you supposed to be telling them how to play against it, Morg?
I don't have to be in the game, so it's a little bit less stressful.
Yeah, but is it not your job to tell them how to do it? I think this is a question you need to answer.
That's why I can't tell you guys how to do it. I can't tell you guys how to do it, though. I might know. You never know if I'd be lying to you right now. I might know, and I'm just holding it back.
All right.
But
You know, I'll take that.
see.
I'll take that.
Hey,
You
we'll
know,
have to see.
that's the right angle to go about it. Well done, Borg. But all in all, what a great performance here out of the likes of the Soondubu Strikers. Always good to see KIENOOB back on the court, even though he's not in here week after week anymore, and looking very, very good while doing it here, showing up with Showtime, taking them up to 4-1 and keeping them on top of the league. We'll see if we get more sightings of KIENOOB as the season goes on, or if it's going to be barcode the rest of the way forward. But it seems like Showtime going to be in plenty good shape either way. Now, coming up next, we do have Hungry Like Nephew taking on Bun Bun Bonanza. Certainly going to be another good series up ahead. We're going to throw to a quick break before we kick that one off. So everybody hang on out, sit tight, and we'll see you in just a couple of moments.